Hello and welcome to Men Behind the Curtain, the podcast about everything and nothing all at once. I am Pitt.
I'm Eli. Hope y'all are doing all right. Hope you enjoyed the week that we were off. Just life stuff. Don't worry about it.
A lot of life stuff happening that weekend.
Yeah. So I don't know. We can kind of just jump straight into our cunt of the week because we've had a couple of things happen, and honestly, my pick right now is SCOTUS.
They were going to be my cunt of the week too. So.
Really? Okay. If y'all don't know the story we're talking about, so of course we all know about the government shutdown and everything. Two federal courts have told Trump to go ahead and pay out SNAP benefits, and the Supreme Court said, "Nah, you ain't got to do what they said." So that's why they're my pick.
Yeah, that was my pick too. It's unfortunate for those of you that have been furloughed or laid off and or even being forced to go into work without pay. You do have my humble apologies for the bullshit that people elected into office, because that was not my pick.
Yeah. Although what was also wild, did you happen to see the presser this week that happened in the Oval Office?
With what was he, Novansk or something like that, the gentleman who collapsed?
Yeah. So 3 really weird fucking things happened with that. First off, like when the guy collapsed, RFK, if you notice, he got the fuck out of the room because he's not a doctor. So I don't know why he's in charge of HHS. He hauled ass. Happened right next to Trump. And Trump he got up. It's like he wanted a better view. Even though he also seemed annoyed that it happened in the middle of his press conference, which, I mean, it's not like he had to take a shit and he could hold it,
Well, two things come to mind, because he took that moment to stand there, and either he was shitting himself at that moment, and not because he's like, oh my god, this guy just fainted, just because he shits himself, or secondly, it's like, did you see the look on his face, as in like, oh, this guy's gone and ruined my press conference now. Gonna have, gonna put him on one of those planes, send him to Guatemala, deport him.
It had very strong. It was like the very first episode of Loki, just very, very sad. Anyway, like those are the vibes that he had.
Yes, very, very sad. Anyway,
that's 100% what he was doing. However, there was one guy on the internet who offered a little bit of hope with this whole fucking thing. Did you notice how he fell asleep in the middle of it?
I missed that part.
I don't know if it was that particular one or maybe it was like a day or two later, but like he fell asleep at the fucking Resolute desk in his chair. He's just knocked, right? And this
Sleepy Donald Trump.
So his background, he says at the beginning of every single video that he is a physical therapist with a doctorate in his degree, and he spent literal decades treating like geriatric patients. That's his expertise, right? And he, first off, a couple months ago, he was saying that he thinks Trump had a stroke, because if you saw him on the red carpet walking from Air Force One, I think it was, he's like going from side to side. And he's like, this is what happens when you've had a stroke and you lose like spatial awareness. And at that time, he was predicting about, I think, 5 to 7 months. And after this past one, when he fell asleep, he was predicting dementia, which honestly, most of us have been predicting dementia, because most of at his best, we never knew what the fuck he was talking about. And lately, no one knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Oh, I never knew what he was talking about. So.
And he is now predicting that Donnie has about 4 to 6 months left above ground. So,
but it's not like anything better is coming in to replace that.
Yes, but as I've said before, I'm actually a little bit hopeful because JD Bowman has the personality of a broken condom, a used broken condom. And
you mean the future JD Kirk?
oh, wait a minute. I need to show y'all hold up, because I put it in the D&D Discord last night. Let me see if I can get this and share my screen, because this was fucking hilarious. Actually, there were two memes. There's that one. Yeah. Let me see. Will it let me share my screen? So this was the first one. And the caption on Twitter, because my wife sent it to me, it said, "It's wild that we all know exactly what this means."
Yep.
The other one, this is going to be a little bit of dark humor, and I am not apologizing for it. But
since when do we apologize on this show?
Valid point. But so the JD Bowman fuck, marry, kill. And honestly, it's not inaccurate.
No. Yeah,
but
yeah, we can do away with this whole administration.
But as I was saying, I'm honestly not as worried, because while he is smart enough to play the game and he has the potentiality to be a worse administration, the thing is, he does not have any personality. So the base will not just follow him, because he has no showmanship whatsoever. If the base doesn't follow him, then Congress is no longer beholden to him. He can't weaponize the base against them. Like, oh, we'll primary you if you don't do what I say. It's gonna splinter. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, we just had primaries and they fucking splintered for the MAGA party.
Speaking of which, yeah, that offered me a lot of hope. It was fucking wild. Those celebrations is what we should have had a year ago.
Yeah. So, long story short, SCOTUS, cunt of the week.
And I'm going to improve that graphic, but it'll do for now as a placeholder.
So you sent me several articles, and I, was trying to get back to read them, and I didn't get a chance. I did see the one that where it mentions Stan Lee, 5 of his Marvel characters that'll never see the MCU.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and share my screen with this one, because I only looked at the very first one. Let me scroll up a little bit here. I only looked at the very first one. So I'm actually going to be looking at this a little bit blindly, like with everybody else here. So for those of you who are listening, YouTube, YouTube is a video, but Spotify, Spreaker, iHeart, if you're listening with those, I'll do my best to narrate so you know what we're looking at. But yeah, so the top 5, it says Stan Lee heroes. I don't know if Stan Lee created all of them. Steve Ditko, I believe is the right name. He doesn't get as much credit as he should. So we're just going to say 5 Marvel heroes who will never appear. By the way, I still need the commercials for Wonder Man look interesting. Like, I'm curious, but I'm not interested yet, if that makes any sense.
I have yet to see a single one.
I've been seeing them because I've been watching Andor lately, finally. So because it's still another Disney Plus property is why I'm seeing Wonder Man commercials. Andor's only fucking great.
Only taking you 6 months to get this far.
I am on episode 2 of season 2. Season 1 was fucking great. Season 1 started a little bit slow, but it got fucking great, especially when he started like breaking out of the prison.
And guess what? We're gonna go with my gripe. There's only 6 fucking episodes to season 2.
God damn it. Of course it is. And anyway, getting back on track here. So this one I've never heard of. Some show called Lucky Man. which apparently was a TV show created for the UK market. It doesn't say that it was a BBC show like Sherlock, for example. But I'm assuming something like that.
Is
But
there any other broadcast affiliate in the United Kingdom other than BBC?
fuck if I know. But looking at this description, it honestly sounds like Domino.
Really?
And yeah, because it talks about like it's a little bit of the MCU version of Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, because he has an ancient bracelet that redistributes his personal luck. So it's kind of like how Kamala, sorry, I fuck up the names because Kamala Harris, same spelling, but she pronounces it Kamala, and then the MCU character is Kamala, same spelling, but I tend to fuck up the pronunciation when I'm anyway.
I think it depends. I think it depends on if you are Southern or Northern.
But so he has an ancient bracelet, which is kind of like her bangle, and then it redistributes his personal luck, which reminds me a lot of Domino, who was in Deadpool 2, who, by the way, I'm very, very sad did not return. I loved her in Deadpool 2. I love Zazie Beetz as an actress, and god damn it, that woman is just a treat to look at. And also, her character in Joker was like, I loved with the swerve that they did in Joker. You've seen it, right? The first one with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
I love the swerve when you find out that he's actually been like, not so much hallucinating, but like daydreaming most of the movie. There was a meme that came out afterwards, like, this movie had y'all thinking that Arthur really had game like that. Because, yeah, Zazie Beetz was way out of his league. So, actually, this was about as far as I got. So, when they say this just imagine DC heroes, I think they're talking about like some of the amalgams, I think is the right word, the mashups between Marvel and DC might be what they're talking about here. Because it talks about Wonder Woman.
I honestly hope that never comes to.
Honestly, it's a fun idea for the comics, but for the movies, it would just be awful. Speaking of that, I actually have a thought. I had a realization with the Superman and Lois show, but we'll get to that later because I chase enough tangents. Let me stay on track for this one. Hero Man and Ultimo the Mechanical Boy. Okay, I don't even.
What the fuck is that shit?
This looks like some anime shit. Like, genuinely, it looks like it sounds like anime shit. Which is not to say that it's a bad thing. Some anime can be really cool, but anime and Marvel don't necessarily blend.
All right, I'm going to catch hate here. Is we have enough anime as it is. We don't need more.
Yeah. Again, the big ones, Dragon Ball Z, One Punch Man, shit like that. I've never watched it. It's not that I dislike it. I just never sat down and watched it. And honestly, there's too much content now for me to watch it because I'm sure shit not starting at the beginning. Like One Punch Man has like literally 1,000 fucking episodes. Or no, that's One Piece. Same, but yeah, same concept. It's too much fucking content.
I was gonna say if he's got one fucking punch, it should be one fucking show.
I know a lot of people who are fans of it, like My Hero Academia and everything. No hate from me, but like I don't have the capacity for it.
Yeah, well, the hate's coming from me.
Okay, that drawing of Stan Lee.
Is that Stan Lee as the Joker and Alfred combined?
I mean, he looks a little bit like Robotnik from Sonic.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Speaking of Robotnik, that was actually another article I had, but I'm going to stay on track. This is another one I've never heard of. Soldier Zero, Starborn, and the Trap. So y'all are just throwing... I'm starting to think this article is a waste of time because I never heard of any of these motherfuckers. This guy looks like a Dr. Doom ripoff. And this guy looks like a Tron ripoff.
And kind of a futuristic Punisher. What the
Honestly,
fuck?
you never heard about this one?
Which one is that?
Stripperella.
Oh my fucking god! Yes, wasn't there a fucking movie with Pamela Anderson or something like that that was loosely based off Stripperella?
Well, this was voiced by Pamela Anderson, so that's
Oh,
possible.
maybe that was it. Okay.
Um, the main reason that I know about this is when She-Hulk came out, and they're talking about like, oh, Stan Lee would turn over in his grave, like when they're showing She-Hulk twerking with Meg Thee Stallion. Yeah, it was a goofy ass scene. You could even argue that maybe it was a little bit cringy. But when they're saying like, oh, Stan Lee would turn over in his grave, you mean the same Stan Lee who made this fucking character? You mean the same Stan Lee who was the fucking strip club DJ in the first Deadpool? That Stan Lee? No. I actually think Stan Lee would have loved the She-Hulk show. I genuinely do. Also, the most unbelievable thing about the entire She-Hulk show is that nobody wanted to date her as Jen. Because I'm sorry, Tatiana Maslany, she was cute as fuck.
Yep. She had just that right amount of awkwardness that made her irresistible.
Kinda, yeah. But while we're in that, so I'm gonna come back to one of the other articles, but real quick, just so I can kind of get this thought out of my head, because we were talking about with the mashups and everything with Superman. So did you ever watch the whole show Superman and Lois start to finish, the one on CW?
Superman and Lois, the one with Bitsy Tulik and I can't remember it. Superman's name.
Tyler Hoechlin was Superman.
Yeah,
I think that
never watched an episode.
really, honestly, I think it's great. They had a really good take on Doomsday. They had a good take on Bizarro. Michael Cutlass or Cutlass? No, what the fuck? Guy who played Abraham in The Walking Dead. He was their Lex Luthor, and he's actually a good fucking Luthor.
Cool.
But I had a thought, and so it only lasted like 4 seasons, and the reason it didn't go longer is because of James Gunn. James Gunn came in when he said that I'm making a Superman movie. He axed the show because I don't want fans getting confused or whatever. Even though Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's Batman is still going to be a thing, so we're still going to have 2 live action Batmans. But for some reason, 2 Supermans was too much. But anyway, I think the reason why it actually ended up being a good show and probably one of the better shows that CW made is because he axed the show. He ended it before the writers could run out of ideas, like Flash, like Arrow. So, because I saw somebody on Reddit was talking about he finished all of the CW shows, and he thought that Arrow was the best one, but it did have a sharp decline. And I think, in my opinion, I think that's why the Superman show was actually the best one, because they ended it before it went too far and just got dumb.
Okay. Yeah, no, my concern about it was going to be too much like the 90s Lois and Clark with that asshole Dean Cain. Mr.
Yeah.
Ice.
The one live action Superman who was ever asked about immigration papers, and this is the motherfucker who went and joined ICE. And his grandparents were in the fucking Japanese camps during World War II. And this is the motherfucker who joins ICE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, Dean Cain. But no, I actually would recommend it because, like, in this version, like, it focuses a lot on his life, as a dad. He's balancing family life with his teenage sons, who their powers are starting to develop. He's balancing that and also being Superman. And at the very beginning of the show, his sons don't know that he's Superman. Only Lois does. So,
see, and I can get behind that. I mean, that's one of the reasons I did want to see the show. But the campiness that has come about from the CW when it comes to the DC shows, it was kind of taking away from me from like the seriousness of it. I mean, and you can throw because even with episodes of Smallville, there was campiness and whatnot, and Batwoman campiness, Arrow campiness, Flash campiness. But I was worried that they were going to take it to an entirely new level with Superman, kind of make it like that Saturday morning cartoon friendly, that that friendly one. So I laid off of it. I love Bitsy Tulik as an actress, I really do, but I wasn't too thrilled when they cast her as Lois. I loved her as Juliet on Grimm. You know,
Yeah. Like, spoiler warning if y'all haven't watched the show. So one of the things that I really, really like that they did with it. So in season 2, they find this quote inverse world. Now the inverse world was a weird fucking concept, but so they found something like a tunnel, um, not unlike the portal Lex Luthor used in the new Superman, or not unlike the portal they had in Peacemaker, which I just finished that. Season 2 is fucking amazing.
I have yet to finish season 2 because we cut the Disney's HBO subscription, so I've only gotten through like the first 4 episodes.
Also, at first, I did not like that they changed the theme song, but it did grow on me. You know that band is actually from Cincinnati?
I'm sorry. For the band, that is. I mean,
it was just cool because they're local-ish.
Yeah, if you want to call them local. So it's Devo, but you don't see them being, used as a theme song.
But anyway, so they found it. So they found this pathway to this quote inverse world. Now the first person to come through was their Superman. He shows up in what looks like a containment suit, and as a fan, I thought this was Doomsday, because for those of the comic fans will remember that's how Doomsday first appeared. But no, it's their Superman. That world is a cube and has a red sun. Again, it is fucking weird, but it worked. That's why he has a backwards S, because it's inverse. His backwards speak is literal backwards speak. He doesn't talk differently like Yoda or anything. Well, not Yoda, but you get what I mean. Like, no, yeah. It is like turn the record backwards, and it's like that's his actual language. So that was their Bizarro. And that was a really cool twist on it. But then later, this is where the spoiler part comes in. I don't remember how he died, but as he's Superman, he does regenerate. Well, Lex Luthor found him and realized that not only do you regenerate with a resistance to what killed you. So he's like, will you let me kill you over and over again until you become unstoppable? And then we have this montage of him like hitting with fucking flamethrowers and rocket launchers and all kinds of shit, just killing Bizarro Superman over and over and over again until we get Doomsday. And it looks like a very comic accurate Doomsday, unlike Zack Snyder's version. So it was a really cool twist on it. I thought that was really cool. And they even go so far as to go into the death of Superman plot. Because he does kill him. But he killed him at the beginning of season 4. Now it's Superman and Lois, so you can't kill him at the beginning of the show, and like you have to bring him back. It's kind of like on Captain America, where they tease killing Captain America 45 minutes into Captain America. Like, yeah, is it a spoiler that he came back? Kinda, but not really. Like, the show is about him. But it was really good. I would recommend it.
Well, but since we're on Superman, we do have some Henry Cavill news and lack of Henry Cavill news. So let's start with the lack of Henry Cavill news. The 4th season of The Witcher dropped on Netflix October 30th, and Henry Cavill, as everybody knows, has left the production and was replaced with Liam Hemsworth. Now, that being said, if we were to go back to the first 3 seasons where Henry Cavill was there and you replace him with Liam Hemsworth, I'm pretty sure you would have a great show. 4th season, you can definitely tell the presence his presence is missing. Nothing against Liam Hemsworth's performance or anything like that. It's just not what it was. There's more of a focus on Siri and Yennefer more than anything. Yes, you do have, you know, Geralt going through. You have his storyline and stuff like that, but it's very limited. And the grunts, the or fuck, it's just not there. And this again, nothing against Liam Hemsworth because he actually does a phenomenal fucking job. But I think if you replaced Henry Cavill for the first 3 seasons with Liam Hemsworth from the beginning, you would probably there probably wouldn't be an issue.
I did hear that. I've been meaning to watch it, but again, I finished Peacemaker, then I started with Andor, so I'm going to move on to The Witcher as soon as I'm done with that. I did hear that.
My second gripe is why the fuck is Morpheus in The Witcher?
That was so weird to me.
And it's not one of those things like, yes, Lawrence Fishburne is in season 4 of The Witcher, but it's fucking Morpheus with fucking Benjamin Franklin fucking makeup on.
So here, where is he? Hang on. No, there's a character that I thought he looked exactly fucking like. Hang on. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I know Dr. Sleep actually just hit Netflix. I wanted to watch that too.
Add it to your list.
So I'm gonna share my screen here. So the character that Lawrence Fishburne looks like to me is this Marvel character. He's sometimes known as Brother Voodoo. He is sometimes known as Dr. Voodoo, but that's the same fucking hairstyle that Lawrence Fishburne had, which is not necessarily a criticism, but like, yeah.
And just put him in some 1970 or 1770s pre-Revolutionary War motif, and yeah,
like as soon as I saw him in the commercials, that was immediately what I thought of. But I did hear basically what you're saying, which was he's actually not bad as Geralt. It's just that because he's a replacement Geralt, that's why it feels off. But I have been hearing that it was actually pretty good. I also said the same thing about like even season two, because the grunt and just fuck, he didn't do it as much in season 2 as he did in 1.
Yeah,
I remember there was a montage from season 1, just fuck, because he does it throughout the show. And I noticed that that's actually a little bit of a Netflix original, because I have listened to the audiobook of The Last Wish, which is what the first season is based on. I've listened to a little bit of the audiobook for the second one. I forget the title of it. I've played some of The Witcher 3. I'm not going to finish that game because it just does not work for me. They're not very good at telling you where you're supposed to go, so that it doesn't work for me. But in none of those does he just fuck. He doesn't do that constantly the way that he does in the TV show. And I loved it. Just his not cynicism, that's not the right word that I'm looking for, but just his attitude, the way that he is. Like I loved it.
And so the news that we have about Henry Cavill that includes him is, well, of course, the Highlander reboot. We've got Russell Crowe actually playing the Spaniard for it. So, yeah. So Russell Crowe and Henry Cavill are going to reunite once again on screen.
That's kind of dope. That also makes 2 movies that Russell Crowe played a Spaniard for some odd reason. Because for those of y'all who don't remember, that's what they called him in Gladiator before he took his helmet off and you see his name, and he says his name. They just called him a Spaniard, which that took me some getting used to, because right now, in the movie came out in 2000, we're now 2025. When you think of a Spaniard, you have a very particular image in your head.
I have
basically
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas is exactly what I was about to mention. You have a very particular picture in your head, and so Russell Crowe does not meet that. But I had to remind myself that Spaniards did not always look like that. Christopher Columbus, no, he was Italian.
He was,
but but the reason that Spaniards exist as we know them today, like Antonio Banderas, is because they intermingled with the Moors, and that basically darkened their skin tone and everything. I had to remind myself of that. So when you rewind to prior to that, Russell Crowe's a Spaniard in fucking like 30 some odd BC. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. I did not know that Russell Crowe, though.
Yeah, I actually just found that out today. I was watching an interview with Russell Crowe, and he was talking about the first time he met Henry Cavill, and was talking to he went on a side rant, kind of like you, and he was talking about when Henry Cavill was approached about doing Highlander. They asked who should play Ramirez, and he's like, I can only think of one person, and that was Russell Crowe. So, yeah, it looks like they're reuniting on the film.
I would be more than happy to see it. I don't know if I've said it or not before, but honestly, Russell Crowe is by far my favorite version of Jor-El that I have ever seen. I loved him as that character. I kind of wish that he had gotten more, but how? Like, this is Superman's origin story, and Krypton has to be destroyed. So how would he get that origin? Don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, so actually, that's a good segue into another article that I had, because we're talking about the Highlander reboot. And I had this over here, that apparently Ryan Reynolds is rebooting a Clint Eastwood movie. I'm a little bit curious to see this, because I have seen very few serious performances out of Ryan Reynolds. And that being said, I'm actually very curious to see this. But the one that he is doing specifically is Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, which I've never fucking heard of.
Nope.
But I would also point out, I think this is the kind of thing where a reboot is a good idea, because you're taking a movie that I've never heard of. And Hollywood has clearly run out of ideas because they keep doing these reboots. And I think if you're going to keep doing reboots, you should pick movies that either we haven't heard of, or were fucking terrible in the first place, and you can only improve it. It can only good happen.
Kofifi.
Which actually actually brings me into I thought of a semi-catastrophe we could do for today, which is, we've talked about reboots a lot before. Can you think of a movie that you want to be rebooted? Either because of well, in this case, if we're talking about it, it's something we have heard of, but it's probably something that you think they could have done better, or it was just dog shit in the first place. Or maybe you think it can be improved on because it was like decades ago.
God, this is only an hour-long show. And again, gonna catch hate for this. Redo the Labyrinth, please. Redo the Never-Ending Story, please.
But if you're going to do sequels to that, do them fucking right, because Jesus Christ, those sequels were awful.
I don't know. I mean, a movie that I love to see redone. Are we talking to reboot the whole franchise, or just like a continuation?
I meant a reboot, but fuck it. If you want to add sequels into it, go for it.
I think. See, it's hard to reboot because they've pretty much rebooted just about every goddamn single one that's out there. You know what? Reboot G.I. Joe.
Without The Rock.
And without Channing Tatum.
Okay.
Reboot GI Joe the way GI Joe was actually supposed to be done, just like it was in the fucking cartoons and the comic books. Okay, reboot that whole fucking thing. Don't sit there and make Joseph Gordon-Levitt fucking Cobra Commander. Don't make Destro some fucking weapons, some Scottish weapons arms dealer. Destro was a fucking black guy. I mean, even with the silver fucking helmet on, the dude was black. You hear him speak? You see the way he's built? I mean, Destro was a black guy. Guess what? Cast a black guy to play fucking Destro, because I guarantee he's going to be the scariest motherfucker on there, because when he says something, you're going to be like, oh, fuck.
Okay. So I actually have two thoughts on this. One of these, if you see in any of the shorts that I have been making and uploading to YouTube, then this is not going to be a surprise. I would like to see them reboot Aragon and do the movie correctly, because I loved the book. I love the series, but that movie was absolute fucking garbage. Honestly, I should go back and rewatch more movies that I hated, because the level of the energy that I had when I was doing that Aragon rant, like I haven't had that on any other movies, because I hate that movie so fucking passionately. But another one that would be interesting that I just thought of off the top of my head, I don't know how well it would translate to live action. We've had at least a couple different animated versions, but if you can do it in live action, it could actually go really well. Is actually another Christopher Lambert movie. Is if they were to do a whole new Tarzan. So
I can get behind that.
Potentially. But the thing is that we live in an age where people are going to analyze it with a little bit more realism. And the fact of the matter is, a man who lives in the jungle, raised around apes, is not going to make it past the age of 6, because an ape is going to fucking hit him one goddamn time. And that's the end of Tarzan. So,
well, I mean, I'm going to add one more to that list. It's called a movie called Warlock, and I brought it up before on the show with Julian Sands. And I would love for them to reboot Warlock.
Actually, another one that I just thought of, although they are rebooting it as we speak, is He-Man. Which, well, the thing is, the one with Dolph Lundgren was so fucking terrible. Like, I watched it because I was a kid and I enjoyed the IP. But when I got old enough to actually appreciate movies, God, that movie was so fucking awful.
I have so many issues with He-Man. I do. I mean, I had the toys and stuff like that. Watched the cartoon and everything, but as an adult, I have so many issues with that. I mean, like, yeah, I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah. Although one thing that I thought was hilarious is they pointed out, they said, it's weird that, kids, like, we've had so many people in recent generations that, grew up and are, queer, bi, pan, gay, whatever. But then it's like, you look at toys like He-Man and Skeletor, it's like, what did you think would happen when you gave us so many fucking homoerotic toys? Which, to be fair, Skeletor and He-Man, they ran around in a loincloth and nothing else and were completely fucking jacked. So,
yeah,
like, you know what? I'm going to give you a mulligan on that one. That's actually a fair point.
So, yeah, just He-Man, I mean, yeah, I don't want to see that rebooted, like, ever.
I will point out, though, just one thing. A live-action Battle Cat would actually be fucking awesome.
A live-action Battle Cat would be awesome. A real Battle Cat would be awesome. I mean, I can take that to work.
Oh, God, imagine cutting that off in traffic.
Like, oh, your little fucking Cybertruck? Not anymore.
I'll just literally run the fuck over it. Like, all right, you won't cut nobody else off again, will you?
Fucking dumpster on wheels, man.
Actually, you know what? Another thing, since we're talking about movie reboots, one of the other articles that I had shared, this was very interesting. This is not a movie that is actively happening right now, to my knowledge, but they have talked about if they were to do another reboot to Nightmare on Elm Street, which Nightmare on Elm Street. So first off, the 2010 version, I think it was god awful. That was shit. That was horrendous. And I think they knew that it was a bad actor for it because Robert Englund Freddy runs his mouth the entire movie. And honestly, it's entertaining. He's charismatic. He is the villain, and you do root against him, but you kind of want to keep watching him. Not unlike Negan. But the 2010 Robert Englund, the 2010 Freddy Krueger, he barely talks through the entire movie. And I think they did that because they knew that this guy was a terrible fucking Freddy. But so this guy, who was it? I think he was a producer or something, I believe it was. Let me go back to the article. Again, I want to point out this is not a movie that is in current production. This was basically somebody just kind of fan casting. But I want to see who it was who said it. I believe it was a producer. It was not Wes Craven. Anyway, fuck it up. They suggested Jim Carrey to take on the role of Freddy. I would actually watch
retirement for that. The thing is, he's retired though.
He is, and I did think about that because he literally came out of retirement to play Robotnik for Sonic the Hedgehog, he was great in that, by the way. I loved him in the movies, and you can tell, like, the Sonic the Hedgehog movies is the first time in a long time that he is genuinely having fun in the role. You can especially tell that in the first movie, like when he does that little dance sequence and everything, which was improv, by the way. You can tell he's genuinely having fun with it. But if he was willing to come out of retirement, I think he would actually kill that fucking role. We've seen him do stuff like The Number 23 and semi-serious with The Truman Show. He's done a couple other serious roles that I can't think of off the top of my head. Where Freddy is a dramatic role, but the shit talking, he has a sense of humor. And I think Jim Carrey is one of very few actors who really could pull that off well.
I could see it. Speaking of retirement, did you see that Sir Patrick Stewart is going to retire from acting after his MCU appearance?
I did not. I'm not surprised, considering, God, he's been acting since like what, the 70s?
Yeah.
Longer. Fantastic. Should maybe. I obviously, as a millennial, my first introduction to him was Captain Picard, is, in The Next Generation. That's what I've known him as forever. That motherfucker did not age for a very long time. I think between Star Trek Next Generation all the way up until, I think it was X-Men Days of Future Past. Days of Future Past is where I actually finally saw fucking time touch this man. Like, he was just frozen for like 20 years. Might have been 30 years, 25, something like that. I don't know. But he was a fantastic actor. He actually completely changed the idea of Professor X, because I don't think Xavier was British until he did it.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the cartoons never really, through the 90s, never really had him as British. He had more of a staunch and stern dialect, but I don't think it was any particular accent to it.
If anything, I would say it was an American accent. Of course, this was also the 90s. They may have given him an American accent because the standards were not what they are today. So that could be it.
Yeah, because, British accents were used for villains.
Honestly, and they're great for villains too, which I don't know. Maybe that's because in the US the British were our first villains. Maybe that's why we think that.
Well, if you want to go historically speaking, they were not our first villains.
As a country, I mean, if we want to go historically speaking, I mean, yeah, I guess the indigenous, but that's a rabbit hole we are not going to delve into at the moment.
Yeah.
And honestly,
No,
we were the villains.
oh yeah. Well, honestly, I believe we were the villains in the Revolutionary War too. I mean, we dumped our own tea.
Mm. So, what I'm going to say to that, because we do have a history of being the dickheads, but
Yes.
the law of averages says that eventually we got to get one right now and again. So, I'm going to at least claim the Revolutionary War.
I was going to claim the Civil War for the North.
We can claim that one too. Um, but yeah, like Vietnam, we were the dickheads. Um, what the fuck are we calling it with the war in Iraq? We were definitely the dickheads with that one.
Desert
The
Storm.
Desert Storm, yeah. Now Gulf War, the one that happened under like Bush Senior. I don't actually know the details around that. We were probably the dickheads. So yeah, historically we've been the dickheads plenty of times. But I'm going to at least claim that one as a W.
All right. Wars have started with snowballs and stones. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh God, I know I had something else I was going to talk about, but I can't really think of it right this second. The other article that I had. Well, one we can have a laugh at this. Hang on. So, oh wait, I actually had that article up over here already. We can have a laugh at this. We talked about it a little bit before, or we talked about this person a little bit before because Tommy Lahren, who is a right wing, yeah, she was a right wing influencer. We talked about and laughed at her a few weeks ago because she's a dumbass who didn't realize that Bad Bunny is an American citizen from Puerto Rico. Well, so now she's talking about, with Zoran Mamdani's win in New York City, which, by the way, I'm happy about. It was funny. I got into a back and forth with somebody on Facebook. A friend of mine shared a congratulatory post, and somebody in her comments like, "Well, he voted for a communist," and I jump in there. I'm like, "No, he's a democratic socialist. This is what communism is." Da 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 da. And he kept trying to say, "Well, no, when I get off work, I'll show you everything. I'll prove you wrong." He never said anything after he got off work. We never heard back. Naturally, right? But anyway, so she's saying that, yeah, after you finish screwing up your blue cities and states and decide to flee, um, yeah, and you flee to our great red cities and states. And some people were like, "Can you give me a list of these great red cities?" Which, genuinely speaking, that's a valid question. Because,
oh yeah,
and so somebody has pointed it out online, and I've come to. Oh, actually, there's a meme about this little. Yeah, great red cities. And here we have a little desert town that doesn't even look like it has a stoplight anywhere in the fucking town. But somebody's pointed out before, and I actually think this is a good point, that the reason that a lot of these actual cities, like the actual metropolis cities, typically go blue has to do with the fact that there is a diverse type of people. It's not just all fucking white people, it's a bunch of people, immigrants, white, brown, black, rich, poor. And when you have all of those people together and you have to interact with all of these people, you start to understand that your world is not the world. And that's where a lot of these cities end up being blue. That was the theory this guy had floated. And I'm actually accepting that because it does make sense. Where
yeah,
those desert towns, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much rang true throughout, the history of, when they keep drawing up the, the lines, for districts and stuff like that. It's why we have all this gerrymandering trying to happen while Republicans are like, well, we need 6 more seats, so let's draw this line here, and it's like, no, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and this has been said 100 times over. I'm not saying anything that nobody has heard already. But the thing about that is, like, maybe just have good policies. Maybe if you had good policies, you wouldn't have to fucking gerrymander and rig the districts. If you had good policies, you would get votes no matter what, right?
That's the idea.
So, oh, I remember one other thing I was going to talk about. Just to so just say this stupid bitch. So, did you hear that Trump actually does not want an American Sign Language interpreter?
This is the first I'm hearing.
The reason why is the most Trump thing you've ever fucking heard. He doesn't want to share the stage. That's really literally all it is. And,
just when you think his ego can't get any fucking bigger.
Yeah, and this is what we talk about when we say, like, how this is I guess ableism type of thing. I think that's the right word for it, because it's not a racist thing, it's not a classist thing, but like, so you don't want people who are differently abled to know what's being said? Like, Jesus Christ, that can he just die already?
Remove them all.
Yeah, and it's gonna be sooner than later if they don't fucking get their shit together, because like they had a fucking Great Gatsby party, I think on the eve of SNAP benefits not being distributed. So it was very much Marie Antoinette. And spoiler warning for Donnie, when Marie Antoinette had that attitude, it didn't end well. Just throwing that out there.
No, not at all.
But I think that'll be a good note for us to end on, because I genuinely don't have anything left to talk about at the moment.
I'm sure there's a lot of shit to talk about. We just can't think of it right now.
Yeah, that's how my brain works. I'll space out for 5 minutes.
It's also fucking cold.
Yeah, there's that too. My heater's going and it's not doing much of anything. My hand is cold. But so as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'll go ahead and drop the links below. You might notice the logo up in the corner. So that is a little bit of our rebranding with, Phoenix Creative Works, which I'll be dropping that link in the description below. And I'm going to see about trying to write up, some. Oh, I know what I can write about, because fuck me. Fantastic Four just hit Disney Plus this week, which I get it for free, through Spectrum, even though we're about to cancel Spectrum here pretty soon. But I'm going to go ahead and watch it probably today. So I may actually have something to write about on the PCW website. But yeah, anyway,
it's going to be a lot of negative.
I mean, with the last few movies, the bar is pretty low.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
But at any rate, before I went on another fucking tangent, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Feel free to check out the website. All Valmont season 1 is out. We are hard at work on season 2 with this guy over here doing the the score, which is fucking incredible. But y'all thanks, and y'all have a good one, and we will see you next Tuesday.
All right, be you.